Today we're going to talk about the 25 items that are essential to include in any wedding planner. I know, 25 essential items. Weddings are a pretty huge event, and if there weren't 25 essential items to include in a wedding planner, most people probably wouldn't buying a planner or bother with buying a planner because they could just remember everything. So these are the 25 essential items, and these are big buckets sort of ideas. Within there are a ton of little details that you could, one, give space for people to plan for, give them ideas, give them suggestions. So wedding planners are an amazing niche item to create a planner for. And if you don't have one in your planner line, would suggest adding one right away. So let's go through that today. And if you were wondering, usually I put together a checklist when there's something this huge, but for today, all of these items are actually already included in the wedding planner template that I am launching at 10 a.m. today. So depending on when you're watching this, it might have already gone live, but all of those things are already in the template. So I kind of feel like you could just buy the template. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi everyone, I'm Lisa from Pretty Fabulous, and I help online businesses create beautiful digital downloads using Adobe InDesign. So if this sounds like you or something you might be interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I do unboxings on Saturdays. Now, today we're talking about the 25 essential items that should be included in every wedding planner, and this means just wedding planners in general. On Sunday, yesterday, I talked about how to really differentiate or was it Saturday? I can't remember. All the days are blending into one because I was late on posting videos, so I kind of just posted them all on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So one of those videos over one of those days talked about how to niche into maybe a bride that's on a budget, a bride that wants a traditional Jewish wedding, a bride that wants a traditional Italian or Irish wedding, or something else that is themed like maybe a Disney park wedding. And within this list, you can start tailoring all of those things because I really think if you love creating wedding planners, and who doesn't, right? Weddings are always pretty and they're fun. Like, it's a huge industry, right? There's a ton of magazines out there. So for sure, I feel like this is something that's going to sell. You could create a whole series of bridal planners, and I haven't seen anyone do this. And you know, when you go to the bride section at the bookstore, there's a huge like shelf, even in tiny bookstores, just for bridal stuff. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into today's list. And remember, if you want to see all of these items, they're already inside of the wedding planner template that I created. I will leave a link to that below, but let's go ahead and get started with today's list. So if you remember, I said the wedding planner content should basically consist of 70% of things that happen before the wedding, 20% the day of, and 10% for things that happen afterwards. So let's just focus on that before list first. And right here in the very beginning of your planner, I think you need 3 essential items. You need a vendor contact list. I've seen some people put it in the middle or towards the end, which seems crazy to me. I would want it right in the front so I know exactly who the florist is that I want to contact, the photographer, everything else. Plus you can make copies of that, hand it off to a wedding coordinator or anybody else who is helping you out. Now, the next thing you want to put in there is a budget breakdown. So the wedding that your bride is planning could be small, it could be huge, you have no idea, but there are 25 essential items in a wedding planner and usually about 25 essential items that they need to budget for. Now, it's possible your bride might say, I'm allergic to flowers, I think they're silly, I'm not going to budget for them at all. And that's totally okay, but at least you want to have that on a list so she at least has the choice to say, 0, I'm going to skip that whole section. So it also helps the bride as she's going through your wedding planner to know which parts she really wants to focus on and which parts she wants to skip, and kind of give her an idea of overall maybe ways she needs to find some more money or she needs to scale back. Now, the third thing you want to make sure that you add is a timeline. I see a lot of people putting an 18-month timeline in there, and that's great. You might want to think about putting multiple timelines in there, like a 1 year and a 6-month, or even a 3-month, or even a day of quickie checklist, only because if your bride is going to get married in 5 or 6 months and she picks this up and she sees 18 months for the timeline, she might say, okay, well, I will just skip through the first year really quickly. Or she might say, you know what? This book is not for me. It is way too overwhelming. There's too many things in it, and she might just put it back on the shelf. So I would make sure that your book is as flexible as it can be, unless your book is based on timing where you're like, get married in 3 months or less. So obviously that would have one timeline in it. only. All right, so moving on to the two big buckets that I think are a good way to think about planning the wedding and setting up the planner are things that the bride can do just on her own, right? So she doesn't need to check with her future partner or coordinate anything. She can just go out and she can get the dress. So let me go through this section. She can do flowers. She can pick out shoes, hair and makeup. Who's going to do hers? Who's going to do the whole bridal party? How many women she wants to have as bridesmaids, and also how many people she wants to fill up other traditional roles like the flower girl, the ring bearer, who else is there? I guess that's it. That's all I have. She needs to decide if she wants a bridal shower or if she wants to have a bachelorette party. And then gifts that she can give to the bridesmaids, family, and also to the groom. And so all of these things together, she can just kind of run with, versus the other part of the list are event-related items that you really want to coordinate with your significant other on, say invitations, the date, the venue for everything, the rehearsal dinner, the actual ceremony, and the reception, and then start coordinating on the hotel, getting blocks of rooms, the guest list, the seating chart, music, food. What else do I have here? Cake, photography, your videography, your officiant. All of those things usually are done together versus the other list the bride can just kind of run with. Now, in theory, you could have a groom's list. I did not put that in there because I don't know that I feel like grooms are really doing a lot of planning, if any. So I didn't include that at all inside the wedding planner, but it might be something you want to put inside of yours. And then the day of schedule. So think of things like how the day should sort of go and how much time she needs. Like she should allocate 2 hours for hair and makeup, or maybe 3 hours just in case something goes wrong. The emergency kit that she should pack for day of, like maybe if someone steps on her veil and it gets a rip, she needs to have a sewing kit with her, contact solution. I don't even know what else could be there, but there are tons of things that you could suggest that she packs, because most likely she's not going to be at her house for the actual ceremony or the reception. The other thing you want to think about is the wedding rehearsal and helping her pick out a venue and, who to invite, who not to invite. And then for the afterwards, you want to suggest maybe helping her plan the honeymoon, what to pack for that, submitting for vacation, setting up her auto reply, finding someone to care for the pets and the plants, right? So it's also a matter of reminding them of things as well as helping them to plan things out. So that's kind of what this list is. And a really nice thing, I think, even though it's not probably essential, I think it's always nice to have a day after brunch scheduled for all the people that attended your wedding, because most likely they're out of town and they're not going to be flying out right away. And they would like to find a way to connect with each other again the next day before they leave. So I know that was a huge list. I can't wait to share the wedding planner with you. I think you're going to absolutely love it. But let's go through that again really quick. And the first one is the vendor contact list, the budget breakdown, and timelines. And then we went into the things that the bride could do on her own, which is the dress, the flowers, the shoes, the hair, the makeup, the bridal party, the bridal shower, the bachelorette party, and gifts. And then we went into things for the event that she really wants to coordinate with her significant other on. And we had invitations, choosing the date, choosing the venues, the hotel, the guest list, the seating chart, the music, the food, the photographer, the wedding cake, the videographer, and the officiant. And then obviously the day of activities. And then finally afterwards, we talked about the honeymoon, the out of office auto reply, finding someone to care for your pets and your plants, and what to pack for that, as well as a day after brunch that you could schedule as a thank you for all of your attendees, as well as some direction on how to sort of pen the thank you cards, as well as maybe a list inside of there where she can record all of the gifts. All right. I hope that was helpful. And if you are at all interested in creating your own wedding planner, make sure to check out my other videos as well as the wedding planner template. All right. I hope everyone's having a fabulous day, and I will see you guys at 10 a.m. today, Pacific Standard Time. And if you're watching this afterwards, you can watch the replay. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.